Theme Park Tycoon 2 has just updated, and wow, this is a big update. We got a new powered coaster, we got a new Ferris wheel, we got more rides, we got flowers, we got glass primitives, we got an extremely high item limit, and a lot more. So let's just get straight into this video. So let's start off with the new content, since we got a few new rides and roller coasters. And as you can see already, the first one in this step is the Ferris wheel. And well, this was the old Ferris wheel, kinda small, very ugly. This is the new Ferris wheel. It has gone a lot bigger. So yeah, let's just place this, and again, as always, these models look amazing. So let's just have a quick look from it, and yeah, wow, this looks amazing. Of course, as always, you can change all the colors, and the price is $25,000. I think you unlock it the same as the old Ferris wheel, and yeah, well, this looks amazing. You can sit with 4 people in one seat. Yeah, no, this looks really cool. I know a lot of people are going to be building this in the park. But there's another flat ride we didn't know in the new step, which is the Space Rings. The first one you actually unlock in the intense ride step. Let's place this. Now, this one isn't too special, I would say. It's basically like this very small ride, but it did need a rework. And well, it has like a nice engine on the side. The animation is definitely a lot smoother, and the train, well, not the train, like the seat looks very nice. And well, this is of course a very fun ride, and it's very cheap to of course place at the start of your park. This works really nice. We have of course now seen those rides, but we want to see the roller coaster, and here it is, the powered coaster. You unlock it quite early in the list. I'm not exactly sure what the level is, but if I have to expect, like between level 20 and level 30. Let's have a look. This is the front train, but let's just place the station down. Here we go, and I guess I'm going to build a quick layout. To enable speed control, you need to go to track feature and enable speed control basically, and then you go to the star, and then you can change the target speed and acceleration and deceleration. So let's just create a very simple loop of this coaster, and then I guess if you place it back to normal, it will just keep that same speed you already put it on. There we go, a very standard, and it also instantly connected actually to the end. Okay, that's also something new, I didn't even realize. This is of course the train. Let's just put it on open, and let's have a look. We can even sit in the front of the train and just look how extremely detailed these wheels are, and just the whole train. This looks amazing. And there's a lot of seats in here. Let's have a seat in here. Let's actually sit in the front here. I barely fit. Then the coaster is going to go. And yeah, I really love the powered coaster. Of course, there's like the power. We are actually going very quick. Well, already, yeah, that's a very quick layout, but it looks very nice. All right, then we're going to go to the nature tab, and you can already see some things. We got a lot of new flower items, and I'm just going to be placing them down. It's going to take a little bit, but we're going to go through all of them. So we got the flower bed, and these are basically the 5 different flower types we have gotten. You can recolor them however you want. So you got 5 types of flowers, but you can make whatever color you want. Then we got the same sort of flowers in different like arrangements, as you can see. So some are like combined and done, and I guess this is mainly if you don't have any game passes, it's sort of like already pre-made for you. Then for the same, we got sort of like these shapes that actually look very nice. So with this, you can actually start to create some very nice shapes, as you can actually with this, without any game passes. So that's actually very nice. And the same for these round ones, which also are amazing. There's only 2 versions of those, not 4 for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, compared to the old flower bed, this is a huge improvement. Then we are going to keep scrolling in the nature tab past all the bushes, and there's a lot more actually. Here they are. We got flower pots, and these are very small, as you can see, and sadly these are not scalable. I'm not 100% sure why, but basically we got like 4 versions that are standing, or 5 versions, and we got 5 versions that are hanging. And with these hanging pots, we also got like the actual, like the hanging mechanisms with them, which look very nice. One that you can hang up here. But yeah, as you can see, when I like select this, you cannot scale it. You can only move it, which is a little bit weird. I'm not sure if it's a bug, but I would love to be able to like scale these bigger and smaller. Same as these, you cannot actually scale this, so it's just one size. Then we also got some flower beds. These are of course used to put on the side of your buildings, like sort of we had with the old one, which looked like that, and now we actually got ones that look so much nice. The edges are like rounded off, but yeah, again, I only have 4 versions, not 5 versions. I'm not really sure what's up with like sometimes having 5 and then 2 and then 4. I'm not really sure why it's not just 5 of every single one of them, but I guess so be it. And then we're going to keep scrolling, and then we see the actual flowers themselves, which, as you can see, are actually not based on a grid, I think, but yeah, let's just place these down. So each flower, as we said, there's 5 versions. We got the small one and a bigger bed of flowers. So let's place all of this down, and these look amazing. And with that also comes these flowers, which are sort of like on the ground itself. These are probably going to be used the most across your park, since you can just place beautiful flower beds all around your park and like in the nature. And this is going to make your park feel so much more colorful and alive, and this is going to be amazing. But there's something else. There's not just flowers. And if we go back into the nature tab, if I keep scrolling a little bit, as you can see, there is grass. We got grass in Theme Park Tycoon 2. Insane. We got grass before GTA 6, guys. What has happened? So we don't have to make grass anymore with primitives. We actually got in-game grass. We got like these 3 types, which is a little bit like less dense, and then we also got these 3 types, which are a lot higher and a lot more dense, depending on like sort of what you want in your park, I guess. And this is going to be able to just hide the ugly like grass here, and it's just going to make everything look so much more 3D, which is amazing. So this is definitely a welcome addition. That's everything in the nature tab, but there's still a lot more to go through, so let's continue. If we go to the primitives tab, and we have to go all the way to the end, we got glass primitives. I was not expecting this. This is something I and, well, Cozy and Benny have been asking for a very, very long time. We have like these pictures we took years ago in Fantasyland, asking Dennis, please give us glass primitives. And finally, after years, we have gotten them. And as you expect, you can rescale these however you want, whatever size. And this is amazing for if you have like certain glass shapes, or if you want to make lanterns, since, well, now we actually can have like, you can of course place like an orb in here and like have an extra light source. This is amazing. Also, the servers are going to restart in 2 minutes. Oh, okay. Well, we'll continue after that. All servers will be restarted in about 0 minutes. What's the point of that? Alright, we are back after a server restart, but as I was saying, you can also change the color of this primitive and change the transparency however you want, which, well, you can see, this is going to have so many more uses than you might think of right now, and people are going to create some incredible things with these glass primitives. Alright, well, that's basically everything that's been added that's new, but there's still some changes, which of course we know is about the collisions. What has actually changed? Now, I have here a little bit of a test section I was building in my live stream earlier today, and we were looking what is actually the difference. This right in front of me is what it was before the update, and we have, well, nature, big primitive, small primitive, a prop. So 4 different types of things. Now, if we're just going to start here, if I select all of this, the item limit was, well, as you can see, 16 or possibly 17. I'm not sure what the number is, but it's 16, 17. Now I have replaced it, and now if I select this, the item limit for scenery or nature is now 37. So it has more than doubled, which is incredible. And, well, as you can see, the item limit now, instead of working on like a block, it now sort of works like on the item itself. So I can not really place one on top of here, since they sort of like connect in some way, but I can place it all the way up there. Alright, now, so for big primitives, the item limit used to be 59. If I'm now going to select all of these, it is 137 big primitives in one block, which basically means the item limit is gone at this point. But that's not the most crazy one. We'll first go to props, which was 13. Not that much, but has now actually gone all the way to 30, which is like almost like a 150% increase. But as you can see, this is what we were able to put before the update, 59 primitives. And if I'm going to select this, I can't select them all, and I've already selected 250. So let's move these out of the way, just move them back there. So we know this is 250 items, and this one is another 234. And if I'm correct, if I would have placed stuff a little bit better, or at least in my stream I did, I was able to go to 500 items or primitives in one cell. So we went from 59 to 500 small primitives. That is just insane. That's almost 10 times more primitives in one cell, which basically means the item limit is no more. If you now are able to hit the item limit, you are just... you're doing stuff that's too insane. That's like, it doesn't need to be hitting it. So the item limit has increased by a lot. For some things 2 to 3 times and even up to 10 times more. Collisions has also changed in some way that you're able to place stuff close to each other. Now, this will probably be able to find out in the next few weeks when we're playing Theme Park 2. It's very difficult to say what has exactly changed at this point of time. Another thing that has changed, what you can already sort of see or saw, is when I place this, it says where in here is the issue with the item limit. So it actually shows where it is. So same for here, it will actually show it's this. But for here, it's going to be doing something a little bit different. So let's move this back, which I don't know if it's going to be doing. Yes. So if I now get this primitive, if I try to place it, as you can see, it is sort of split up into 4 blocks, a primitive now. So which means I think in each block you can probably place like about 137 primitives, which is this number of the big primitives, which is then split into 4 for the smaller ones, which I think that is basically what's happening. Now, if we go to the roller coaster, and I'm just going to disable collisions, sometimes when you were like building a lot of pieces through each other, it was very difficult to see what item was actually hitting the item limit. So once you're now trying to place stuff inside of each other, it actually shows a nicely highlight around it, and it like fades out, and it basically does the same for everything that you're trying to build through. And well, the same does of course for all these items and stuff. It will actually show you what item is the problem. All right, the next thing is something related to friends. Now, if we go to just, let's say, this Ferris wheel, in this step we of course are always able to add an income boost, but next to it is now a friend boost. So if we press this, play with a friend to activate the income boost. Now, I'm not sure how much you can stack this. I can probably maybe invite some friends. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to join this. Also, I don't see my mouse actually in this screen. This is very difficult. But maybe they are able to join. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but I guess either it's 10% maximum, or each friend that joins you gives you 10%. And of course, 5 people can join your server. So that will mean 50% more cash. A smaller change has been done to the image panels. So let's just get, well, this one, I think, just like, yeah, this is a small one. So we normally weren't really able to make these much smaller, but now we actually can. So if I actually disable collisions again, and I can make this, now if we disable collisions, as you can see, extremely small. It's even smaller than my face. This is an extremely small image. I'm not sure why you would really need that, but you can now create some very small images and details. If you want like some small signs, you can now do so. All right, for the last final things, let's have a look at the change log. Well, of course, we've gone all the things at top. Console chat is now supported, so you can actually chat if you're on like PlayStation or Xbox. You can now buy money and credits through the store tab on experience detail page. So basically what I mean, if I go to actually my Google and I go to this tab right here on the store, I don't think it's here yet, you will be able to buy money and credits. That's basically what it is, but that will probably be activated in the next few hours. Probably once this video has come out, it's probably there. You can now enter simple math expressions as a custom snapping value. So what this basically means, let's just, I don't know, get like a tree. Let's do that. You need to be in precision mode, of course. If I'm going to snapping, you're always able to do like 2.5, and then you can snap it on 2.5. But let's say I want a snapping of 1/4. I can, so that's of course 0.25, so you can do that. The smallest you can go is 1/512, which is 0.00195321. It's basically nothing. So, but that's the smallest you can go, and of course you can also do 1 by 1, and then it's of course 1, and the 1 by 2 is of course half, and you can constantly do stuff like that, and you can go as crazy as you want to go 1 by 50, I don't know, 68, and then it basically gives you that. So instead of having to calculate it back maybe on like a calculator, you can now just type it in Theme Park Tycoon 2. When something else is in the way, or when you build too many items in one spot, the items causing this error will now be highlighted. We saw that earlier. You can now build many resized items closer to the park edge. So sometimes you had like weird angles you could not place it at with the park edge. Now that has hopefully been improved. You can now resize small image panels. We saw that. Improve the selection highlight for transparent items. We also saw that once we select these, you can actually see like a nice white outline around them. And that is the update. There is a lot in this update. It's quite a long video, I think this. But yeah, there's a lot of things we still have to figure out. Also, you can see the Ferris wheel is unloading. That looks very strange from distance, but alright. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this update. In the next few hours, there's also a build battle starting over on my Discord with the powered coaster, but we will be doing a build battle across the next 2 weeks for 25,000 Robux. So yeah, if you want to win some Robux and you want to build the powered coaster, make sure to join my Discord. All the information will be there tonight. But yeah, I am extremely happy with this update. This was, I would say, worth the 15 weeks. I would have maybe rather see this being split up in 2 updates, like one like 8 weeks ago and then this one, but I guess the collations probably took quite a lot of work. So there's a lot of things we can work with for the next, I don't know, like 10 weeks again. So guys, that is the end of this update video. If you enjoyed this, we are probably almost on 500,000 subscribers. We only need like less than 100. Maybe we've even hit it once you're watching this video. So I want to thank you already for 500,000 subscribers if we have. But if not, please consider subscribing. So guys, I will say, as always, goodbye.